I go for refuge and tell my Latin to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Go for refuge and tell my Latin to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and tell my Latin to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaya svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaya svaha. Okay, a continuation from this morning's emptiness part, and then with follow-up question answers. Given that we finished with the 4 essentials, the meditation emptiness, there are so many versions of reasonings to establish emptiness, and the 4 essential. This is something which is very unique and is applicable to most of the other reasonings also. Reasoning one which is very popular and that I would highly recommend all of us to eventually study is Acharya Chandrakriti's text, Entry into the Middle Way. Entry into the Middle Way. Acharya meaning master, Chandrakirti, his text. I highly recommend you study that, one. Then the number 2 that I like to recommend is chapter 9 of Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, chapter 9. This on the emptiness, chapter 9. Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, chapter 9. Then once you understand these 2, then you can go to Aranyagarjuna's text, Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way. Aranyagarjuna's text. Whereas if you directly study Aranyagarjuna's text, it's a little complicated, technical. And for your more, say the quick, or the first one is Supplement to the Middle Way. Supplement to the Middle Way by Acharya Chandrakirti. Acharya Chandrakirti. And second one is Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, chapter 9. Okay, then the third one, after this, then Aranyagarjuna's text, the Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way. Mula Madhyamika Karika in Sanskrit, Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way. Okay, and the one book that I would suggest you for more of the immediate reading would be His Holiness the Dalai's book, How to See Yourself as You Really Are. 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 Okay. Okay, good. So the reasoning, how to see yourself as you really are. Okay, the reasoning that is employed in Acharya Chandrakriti's text, Supplement to the Middle Way, there, what is taught there is that, okay, how the feeling of sadness, feeling of happiness, excitement, anger, jealousy, all these thoughts arise is when we interact with the object. When we interact with the object, when we as the beings or the person interact with the object, the phenomena with which the other than you, when we interact, then all the emotions arise. So, in order to curb the disturbing emotions, the Acharya Chandrakriti, he taught that the phenomena, okay, you as a person, you see the self as objectively real, and then you see the object with which you interact as objectively real. And so what he did is that he explained how this object that you're interacting with, this is like a mirage, this is like an illusion. The emptiness of this object, referred to as the phenomena, other than the object. In other words, the emptiness of the phenomena or the selflessness of phenomena. Then so here, you as a subject, a person, then you also see yourself as objectively real. So there you have to see the selflessness of the person. So instead of seeing the selflessness of the person, you see the selfhood of the person. Instead of seeing the selflessness of phenomena, you see the selfhood of phenomena. And then these two things collide, then the various emotions arise, disturbing emotions arise. So therefore, he taught the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. And which of the two is taught first, then varies. Acharya Chandrakriti taught the selflessness of phenomena first, followed by selflessness of person, whereas Bodhicitta Shantideva in his text, he taught the selflessness of person first, followed by the selflessness of phenomena. That's up to the individual. Whichever way you can study, whichever way is more convenient to you first. Okay, so when explaining the selflessness of person, Acharya Chandrakriti explained it through the reason. In other words, selflessness, emptiness, selflessness, in a loose sense, these two are synonymous. Selflessness, emptiness, in a loose sense, these two are synonymous. And then if you want to know it very precisely, you have to study the different tenet systems. So selflessness has many connotations. Selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena, within selflessness of person, again gross, subtle. So these we have to study separately. In a loose sense, selflessness, emptiness mean the same. Okay, now selflessness of person. Acharya Chandrakriti, when he was explaining the selflessness of person, he did that on the basis of the reasoning known as reasoning of rejecting the seven modes. Reasoning of rejecting the seven modes to establish the selflessness of person. This is what Acharya Chandrakriti employed. Reasoning of rejecting the seven modes. Reasoning of rejecting the seven modes to establish emptiness. So to establish emptiness, there are so many reasonings, one of which this one is quite popular and very important. The reasoning of rejecting the seven modes. Okay. What are the seven modes? This is one question. I'll quickly give you this, the seven modes. Okay, first we will see what are the seven modes, and we have to reject each one of them. The first one is oneness. Oneness. Number two is differentness. Oneness, differentness. Dependent. Oneness, differentness, dependent. Then appropriation, collection, the special shape, oneness, differentness, dependee, dependent, appropriation, collection, special shape.
Special?
Collection or election?
Collection.
Collection.
No, what's the difference? Collection or collection? What's the difference?
I thought you said election.
Oh, not election. Oh, don't worry. Yeah, it's not election, don't worry. Yeah. Collection, collection. Same. C-O-L-N, huh?
The seventh, the last one, special.
A special shape. Shape, special shape. Okay. One thing that we need to learn is that out of these seven, so each of these seven are to be rejected. Seven to be rejected, and to understand emptiness. Out of these seven rejections, the Buddha, at one point, he rejected only four. The Buddha rejected only, at one point, the Buddha rejected only four. Then Nagarjuna came and he rejected one more. That makes five. Then Acharya Chandragupta came and then rejected two more, making seven. Right? Okay, so this is how the rejection of the seven modes, and then what we learned of the four essentials, rejection only two, oneness and differentness. That is actually good enough. That is actually good enough. But then, in order to understand emptiness very precisely, the Buddha at one point rejected the four modes. Then Nagarjuna added one more, making it five. Then Acharya Chandragupta added two more, making it seven. Okay, so this is very important. So therefore, I want to quickly do this, and then I'll invite questions. Rejecting oneness, for example. Okay, sit up properly. Sit up properly. Okay, close your eyes, open your eyes up to the individual, that's fine. Your job is just reflect on think of yourself. Think of yourself, this as a self, I. Think of that person. And the way we did that in the mornings, morning meaning the morning prayers. Okay. Do you agree with me that you are composed of the body and the mind? Yes. And the body is you have the body and mind. And in the body we see that the body has the element earth, which is the solid part with thin skin, the fatty tissues, the muscles, the cartilages, the bones, the heart, the lungs, spleen, kidney, gallbladder, liver, and so forth. All the solid parts of you constitute the element earth. And of course, that is not me. That is not this self. Keep that aside, element earth. The element water, 4.6, average 4.6 liters of blood that you have in your body, which your heart pumps in and out to the different parts of the body. That is also not the self. Keep that aside. The element of fire, like 2,500 joules of energy of your body heat. For sure that is not you. Keep that aside. Then the element of space, like 99.9999% of your body is just the space between the electrons on the nucleus. So essentially, we are nothing but composed of the space, but you are a solid part, solid person, and the space is vacuum in nature. Even the space is also not you, keep that aside. Then the consciousness, your mind, out of the body and mind. Now you have the mind, which is also referred to as consciousness. Even that is also not you. You are a girl, you are a boy, and a consciousness does not have the gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So even this consciousness is also not you. And on top of that, people can see you, but people cannot see your mind. People cannot see your consciousness. So therefore, even this consciousness is also not you. Keep that aside. Okay, what is left now? Nothing's left there. Besides these 6 consciousnesses, no, 6 elements, nothing is there. Nothing is there. Okay, now you can do this in 2 ways. One, creatively segregate all the 6 elements distinctly as separate entities, keep all the element of earth on one side, water on the other side, and then the air, then the fire, the space, consciousness, just keep them like in 6 different groups in separate. This is one way of doing it. But after doing this and doing with this, then from this mixture, you gradually try to put them in clean divide in 6 different portions. Then you ask, where is the self? It's not really there. Okay, this one way. This is very gross way of seeing. Where is the self? It's not really there. Okay, now the next. If you're successful with this, if you're 100% sure that this self is not there, besides the 6 elements, then what we do is that we then the 6 elements, bring them to their own original space, the mixture. Within the mixture, you should be able to see them separately, like the water and the pebbles mixed in the glass. You can see these 2 as distinct entities, separate entities. This water, pebble, these 2 are not mixed. Although these 2 are mixed in the glass, but these 2 have distinct entities. Likewise, these 6 elements have their distinct entities. While they're mixed within you, where you identified yourself as who you are now, within this, without any altering the 6 elements, the reality is that these 6 elements, they exist so independently from each other as distinct entities. Just go up one by one element of earth, different parts of the element of earth, element of water, element of fire, element of air, element of space, element of consciousness. You have to go one by one. Don't think that, okay, I know that none of these exist. If you do like this, you will never get emptiness. One by one. Then like adding the bricks one by one, then the stupa comes to the being. Likewise, this emptiness comes to being only through this experience, the exercise. Okay. So with this, now close your eyes, open your eyes, tell me, open your eyes and look at me. Okay, now open your eyes and look at me. Okay, now, open your eyes. Okay, so there, okay, open your eyes, don't close eyes means that you're prone to sleeping. Okay, open your eyes. Okay, now, we see that there are 2 ways of doing this. One is, creatively, with this mixture from the 6 elements, you slowly segregate them, put them separately, 6 portions, and the rest of the self is not there. Okay, when you're successful with this, then bring them together in this mixture, like the water and the pebbles mixed in the glass. This mixture, within this mixture, still they remain as distinct entities. Okay, so try to, with the second then experience, if you realize that the self is not really there, then that is extremely powerful. Okay, with this now look, the 6 elements, which of the 6 elements is the self? We say no, none. So the self is not one with its parts. Oneness is rejected, which we did already earlier with the 4 essentials. Next, if the elements are not this self, then the self must be different from the elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is left there? Nothing is left there. So the self is not different from the 6 elements. Rejection of the separateness, rejection of the differentness. Number 2 rejected. What is number 3? Number 4. Dependent. Okay, so let's say, my question to you, the self, is it dependent on the 6 elements? Yourself, is it dependent on 6 elements? Huh? No? You're not dependent on 6 elements? The fact that you're a girl is because you are the element of the earth. Is female? Huh? Are you dependent on 6 elements or not? Yes. Yes. If you're dependent on the 6 elements, 6 elements also depend on you? No. Your hand becomes your, is this Dorji's hand? In the absence of Dorji, they cannot be Dorji's hand. So the fact that it becomes Dorji's hand is because of Dorji, by dependence on Dorji. So these two are mutually dependent. Dorji is dependent on the elements, and elements also dependent on Dorji. These two are mutually dependent. Okay, which means that when you say Dorji is dependent on the elements, Dorji becomes the dependent, and the elements become the dependee. Then when you say the elements depend on Dorji, Dorji becomes the dependee, and the elements become dependent. Okay, so what we accepted is, what we agreed is that the self and the 6 elements, these two are dependent and mutually dependent and dependee. If you agree with this, then how can you reject that? Rejection number 3 and 4. Rejection number 3 and 4, how can you reject that? How can you reject dependent and dependent? How can you reject that? Okay, to make it very quick, we are subjecting the self to ultimate analysis or conventional analysis when you go into the 6 elements. Okay, you go into the ultimate analysis. With respect to ultimate analysis, what happened to the self? Self disappears. In the eyes of the ultimate analysis of the self disappears. Okay, to say dependent and dependee, there must be 2 things. If the 2 things are missing, then the dependent and dependee makes no sense. For example, say, I depend on this bench. Bench should be there, I should be there. Whereas the bench is not there, for me to say that I'm dependent on the bench doesn't make any sense. And to say that I'm dependent on the walking stick, which means that the walking stick should be there, I should be there, 2 things should be there. So dependent and dependent makes sense only if these 2 are the 2 things there, 2 things. Whereas when we subject the self to the ultimate analysis, then in that the self disappears, self is empty. So it becomes only one side, the 6 elements, the self is not there. So when it is only one side, then dependent and dependee makes no sense. Okay, so number 2 and number 3 rejected. Then number 5. What is number 5? Appropriation. Appropriation and possession mean the same. Appropriation and possession. Now you may say that, okay, I possess this book. I possess this book. I possess this book. This is my possession. I possess this book. Again, same. Possessed and possessor. Possessed, what is possessed is the object, and possessed is the person. These 2 things. Again, there should be 2 things. In the absence of 2 things, possession makes no sense. To say benefactor, act of benefiting, for example, generosity, act of benefiting. Benefactor, beneficiary, and the act of benefiting. These 3 things are oftentimes referred to as the 3 spheres, emptiness of the 3 spheres. Spheres meaning, for example, with the giving, giver, given, and act of giving. And for example, let's say with negative, Practitioner. Okay. The meditator, what is meditated, and the act of meditating. Right? So all these actions, there are three things. Agent, object, and the action which connect the two. There are three things. So all these three things, it is Acharya Nagarjuna in his text and the Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way, he always employs the analysis of these three things: agent, object, and the action which connects the two. So let's say the act of benefiting, benefactor, beneficiary, and the act of benefiting three. These three things, they are mutually dependent again. These two are mutually dependent. So when the benefactor is not there, then the act of benefiting does not happen. If the act of benefiting does not happen, the beneficiary makes no sense. Whereas if the beneficiary is not there, even if there's a person who wants to benefit, act of benefiting is not happening. Without the act of benefiting, then the benefactor makes no sense. Now, if the generous person is there and the person to receive the benefit is also there, but if the act of benefiting is not happening, then you are not the benefactor and the other side is not the beneficiary. So these three things are mutually dependent. So these three things are referred to as the agent, object, and the action which connects the two. So these three things, oftentimes, they are referred to as the three spheres. To see the emptiness of three spheres. S-P-H-E-R-E-S, spheres. And oftentimes is also referred to as the purity of the three spheres, the purity of the three spheres, meaning that the three spheres are pure of objective existence, pure, freed of objective existence. The purity of the three spheres is more like a metaphor, saying that to be seen, the three spheres to be seen as empty of objective existence. Okay. So, the 5 points are rejected. What's next? Collection. Okay, one point when I was teaching this philosophy to a school, Tibetan school, when I asked this question, okay, what is the table? The top thing is the table, left is the table, which is the table? Then one girl said that all together is the table. All together is the table, not just the top. Top leg is not the table, the legs are not the table. All together is the table. This is what she said. It's very interesting. Okay, so that is known as a collection, right? So Acharya Chandrakriti, many years ago, how many years ago? 7th century AD. How many years ago now? 1,300 years ago. How many of you would say the same thing? If I ask which is the table, top leg of the table is the table, the legs of the table, you would say that all together is the table. How many of you would say this?
Yeah, I would say maybe.
No, just raise your hands. Those who raise your hands, don't say anything. Raise your hands. Those who would say that yes, this girl is correct. All together is the table. Raise hands. Okay, which means that Acharya Chandrakriti, 1,300 years ago, he came to know that 2019, 1,300 years later, there's going to be a group of people who would not be happy rejecting the first five. Right? The Buddha rejected the first four. Acharya Nagarjuna added one more, 5. So he realized that, okay, there's a group of people who are so stubborn, who will not be convinced with the emptiness explained by the Buddha and Acharya Nagarjuna. So they need 2 more. Right? No, not 2 more. First, they need 1 more. That is a collection. So he said the collection is also not the self. He added that, right? Okay. So the collection is the self. Then the point is that okay, the collection, if the collection of the parts of the car is the car, then you unassembled all the parts, put them together as a collection. Is that a car? What's the answer? No, the collection is there. Collection is there. You said the collection is a part, the collection is a car. So, yes.
Depends how you put it together.
Yeah, put it together. Now put it together. Okay, collection with a special configuration. Right, this is a car. Is what you're saying? Nana? Okay, special configuration. This is known as special shape. Again, I already knew that. Nana is going to come after, all right, 1,300 years later, there's one complicated woman coming known as Nana. Not only her, there are a group of people who are a little, stubborn. Okay, they will, for sure, they will say that the special configuration of the parts, that is the self, or that is a car. For sure, they're going to say this. So he rejected in advance and he left, right? But he left the book for us. Okay. So the special configuration, not just the parts, collection, not just the collection, but the collection of these parts, put them together in a special configuration, that becomes the self, that becomes the car, that becomes the table, that becomes a house. Okay, how many agree with Nana? Wow, so happily, look. Okay, raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many of you don't agree? In other words, there's the special configuration of the collection of parts, also not the self. Raise hands. 1, your name? Matthias. Matthias, Alex, there. Okay, tell me, what reasons do you have to say that it is not the self? Yes.
It's just there is no tableness in the table.
No. The point is, we are not at all discussing. It has become a very specialized issue. It's not, tableness, and we are not talking about this. What we are saying is that the special configuration of the collection of the parts put in a proper order, known as a special configuration, special shape, or the special configuration, that is the car, that is the self. So what's the problem? Okay, Mathis?
There are several of these special configurations and there are several valid tables. So which of these is like table itself? And
okay, so here, this table, there's only one special configuration. No many, because there's only one. You can alter it. For example, say this table, okay, this is too long, I don't want this big, I can make it a little smaller. You cut a part of it. Again, it assumes the next special configuration.
Yes, this is the problem, like you can keep cutting it and when will it stop being a table?
So what's the problem?
The problem is that at some point...
No, at this point, look. So this table, top plank and the legs, just unassemble them, put them together and in a cupboard. Is there a table inside? No. But put them nicely in a proper order and then a special shape comes out.
Well,
that is the table.
Yes.
Huh?
By convention, yes.
Yes, whatever. You call it convention, but I would not call it convention. I would say this special shape. That is the table. Okay, how would you, yes, Alex?
Maybe because if you disassemble the table, each part of the table is not a table.
Yes, that I agree. That the Nana agree, right? Table and unassembled, each part is not a table, right? We agree. Marika,
Yes.
you agree? Yeah.
But then there is no table.
No, when is unassembled, there's no table. You assemble it and create a proper configuration, give it a special shape. With respect to the table, the special shape. Special configuration is the special shape. That is the table. What, Nana? You're rejecting. You are the one who brought up this issue and now you're rejecting it. Okay, anybody who does not agree with this?
I continue disagreeing because if it's...
Be very precise. Be very precise.
If I apply the same thinking to table as we have done in relation to the self, by then there is no table. As you just split all the parts, where's the table?
No,
so
split and part we agree. The Nana agree, then agree, Marika agree, right?
No table.
There is table, of course, the special configuration is there. There's a table, what's that? Okay, who likes to reject it? Yes.
I don't know, but many becomes one. Many parts become.
Many parts become. This is if you accept the individual parts as the table, individual parts. Then there are many individual parts, so therefore there should be many tables with the same table. That is pertaining to if you accept the individual parts to be the table. Whereas we are not talking about individual parts. Individual parts we accept that individual parts to be accepted as a table is related to the first rejection. Rejection oneness. Rejecting the table to be one with its parts, individual parts. Right? Now we are talking about is the special configuration. Okay, anybody? Really? Is there any some mathematics to reject that?
For me it's quite clear, if you have 0 and 1,
yes, yes.
I mean they are the same, I mean if you have 0 you can always have 1, if you have 1 you can have 0. So
How?
just plus 1 or minus 1.
No, that's fine. How this special configuration is not the table?
Yeah, it's a table.
Oh, wow. So he first really rejected that by saying that 0 and 1, and then he said it is table, which means he really agrees with us. Okay, how is the special collection, special configuration is not the table? Anybody? Yes.
You can't find the table in the collection somewhere in all the parts of the collection. There is no part that is.
That we agree. That we already rejected. We already rejected as the first rejection, right? We are the very stubborn people. Stubborn people, headed by Nana. Nana, who Acharya Chandra already saw right from the beginning, to reject the individual parts to be the self, to be the car. Yes.
Could it be something to do with number 4 of the 4 essentials, so that the object doesn't have objective existence regardless of parts of the whole?
Okay, how? So finally, Nana should be happy. Right? We have to say something and then Nana says, yes, that's true. Right? Unless Nana says true, then we cannot do anything. Okay, what do we do now? Okay, second last.
But what if I sleep on it? Then I will call it a bed.
This one.
Yeah.
This one, yes, of course, you can also use as a bed. It's not a bed. It can be used as a bed.
But I will call it bed. I will see it as a bed if I sleep on it.
No. You can sleep on the chair. The chair is not a bed. Right? Okay.
I have a little bit similar to him saying that it's just a convention that we call it a table, but it's not.
But the point is, if you are able to reject that, special collection, special configuration is not the table, then the question, where's the table? If you go towards the object, you will never find it. So therefore, the table exists only as opposed to object. Subject, subjectively exists. That comes later, not now. You have to reject it first. Without rejecting it, then the conventionality cannot be established.
Also, I agree with Matthias that there are many different shapes that we call tables, that they're all different.
Matthias, he's already rejected and he also accepted the defeat. Yes, Matthias.
If I buy the parts at IKEA in a box, I know it's a table.
If you buy the parts and put in the box and bring it here.
They are in the box.
They're in the box.
I buy a table.
You buy a table,
yeah.
Then?
I know it's a table, but it's parts in a box.
Okay, parts unassembled.
Yeah.
Okay, in a box. Okay, is it a table?
It's not a table. No.
It's ingredients, it's not the
Oh, the ingredients. Okay, I bought the food, right? I bought the food from the market store, right?
It's all in a package. In IKEA, it all comes in the same package.
I see.
Tools and everything.
Everything in the package, right? So there is no table. Is it a table?
It's a kit for a table.
Kit for a table, yes. It's not a table. Okay.
What is the question? How should we ask the question to?
Say it again.
What is the
How to ask the
question?
question to come to the right answer? Like, I would have given.
She was asking what was the question, the original question.
You give the answer and you forgot the question.
What's collection? What's the collection?
Why is the collection not self?
No, the collection. How is a special configuration of the collection of the parts, not the self, not the table, not the how. Thomas?
Table exists conventionally, but the special configuration is projection of our mind.
Well,
The quality of special shape is projection of our mind. There isn't any.
Okay, Thomas, don't talk too much. And don't look at me also, look at Nana. Only if Nana is happy, then you are fine. If Nana doesn't give the green signal, no point. Okay, so we have no answer. What do you do?
why the need for this point?
Because Nana is there.
If you see from the parts between 1 and 2, and then when you get to 3 and 4,
Because Nana is there.
it's about collection.
Marita. Because Nana is there, Marita is there. Right?
And we want to reach enlightenment. And
Yes.
we see this point. That's why. Somebody help us.
Okay. Now questions.
What's the collection?
Sami?
The question that I...
Yes.
Okay. It's actually a train of thought that may consist of a number of questions, depending on how this one goes. So the first kind of issue that I had was with understanding the two sides of emptiness in the light of emptiness being the non-affirmative negative.
Non-affirming.
And non-affirming negative. And on the other side we had the dependent origination.
This is my question. I told you don't expect the answer from me. This is my question.
How will we learn?
Emilia, I told the class, right? Don't expect the answer from
When you ask the
to the
question,
yeah.
when you ask the question, we cannot expect you to answer, but he asks you the question.
No, this question came from me.
I have a few other questions.
Yes, you can ask other questions. Yes, other questions are fine. Any question which I did not ask.
Related to dependent origination, we said, or actually you said,
Okay.
be precise. Exact wording, knowing the level of precision required in this room. Dependent origination is equal to subjective perception of existence.
Subjective existence.
Yes. Now, on page 4, when we talk about dependent origination.
Is the middle, is the?
Yeah. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation of this and so on. To me, that refers to ultimate reality, i.e. emptiness, rather than subjective perception of existence.
Okay. So this is where we have to, this is the meaning of the two sides of the same coin. If you look at from, say, this object, I'm not going to say flower, I say this object, say group A, looking at through conventional analysis, group B, looking through ultimate analysis, Group A looks at it. Group A sees as flower. Group B sees as emptiness of the flower. Okay. Are you two look? Which of the two? One says flower, one says emptiness of flower. Who's correct? Both are correct. You're getting it? Both are. One says it's a flower, one says no, there's no flower. Both are correct. Okay. Now, the point is that are you talking about the same object or you're talking about two different objects? Hey, group A and group B, you are talking about the same object. Group A says that this is flower, group B says that this is emptiness of flower. It's the same object, different objects? Same object. The same object looked at from the one side is the same object. Two sides of the same coin. Same object looked at from the conventional analysis, you see a flower, you see the dependent origination. Looked at from the ultimate analysis, you see the emptiness. These two are the same. Dependent origination means dependence on the subjective imputation. Dependence. There are three levels of dependent origination. Third one, dependent origination of the dependence on the mere mental designation. So that is the subjective imputation. Then when you look at it from the other side, you see the emptiness. So here, page 4, in dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising. Independent origination is the side seen through the conventional analysis. What is seen through the conventional analysis? When you look from the ultimate analysis, you see that there's no ceasing, there's no arising, there's no coming, there's no going, there's no permanence, there's no annihilation, there's no oneness, there's no separateness. This is seen through the same object seen through the ultimate analysis. What is seen through ultimate analysis? If you do conventional analysis, you see the dependent origination. Therefore, it says independent origination. What is seen through ultimate conventional analysis, independent origination. The other side, there's no ceasing, there's no arising. All these things from the ultimate analysis point of view. Okay, any more questions? Yes?
In regards to non-affirmative negative, so you said that emptiness is always a non-affirming negative. If I say that I am empty, first, if I can say this, can I say that I am empty of being dead?
I'm empty of being dead. Yes, of course, you're not dead.
And in my mind, there's only two modes of existence, dead or alive.
Oh, yes.
Have I not affirmed that I'm alive?
Okay, anyway, the Henry is smart. He's very smart. He's asking my same questions, repackaged that. He did a new package and then said that made in China. You know that he's from engineering background. Yeah.
Sorry for trying to trick you.
No.
I'm just trying to find the answer to your question.
Okay, so that is okay because that you did it nicely. Inside content is the same. Only packaging is very beautiful. So for the packaging, what I will say is that I can say that you are alive is inferred. That you are alive is inferred. That I am empty of death, which implies that you are alive. That is inferred because both are in the domain of the conventional analysis.
You like that,
So, conventional analysis, does that mean that this is not non-affirming negation?
This is not.
So is it affirming negation?
Which one?
What he says?
Yes.
Empty of death?
What empty of existence?
Yes.
It's affirming.
Yes. Because being alive is inferred.
It's not affirmed, it's inferred.
Inferred.
Affirmed, inferred, and implied, all three.
So it's not the actual formula, non-affirming or affirming negation that defines whether it's conventional or ultimate, but actually by the meaning of what is said. Because the formula looks like non-affirming negation.
How?
Intuitive.
No, M2, if you could remember, we talked about this one. Say the very strong person, he never eats in the night. So it affirms eating in the daytime. We said it. Likewise, that I'm not dead, which means I'm alive. So being alive is affirmed.
But I'm just stupid, but I mean, people who are living on like the elements, yogis, they can be strong, but not eating at all.
So I said that this person, this ordinary person.
Ordinary, okay.
Yes.
I was thinking about it when you said that when we look out of the window into the emptiness, the ultimate truth,
yes.
and you said that there is nothing. But then the first question we had to answer is that does the flower exist?
Yes, inside, not out.
So nothing exists outside.
Yes.
Nothing exists in the ultimate reality.
Exactly. But they do exist. They do exist inside. They don't exist outside. Nothing exists outside. Everything exists inside.
But I thought in the ultimate reality everything exists as dependent origination.
No. Everything exists in the conventional domain. Everything exists conventionally. Nothing exists ultimately.
So what is this ultimate world then?
What is this ultimate? I didn't say ultimate. I said ultimate domain. I didn't say ultimate world. In the ultimate domain, nothing exists. Everything exists in the conventional domain.
Is it a state of mind?
No. State of mind should be existent.
Is ultimate reality wrong translation? Just quickly. Is ultimate reality a wrong translation?
No, it's a very good translation.
Well, ultimate world. You know what is like universal reality or how we experience things.
Ultimate world, who translated?
No, but he said.
Okay.
It's like synonym for.
Thomas is very smart. He doesn't want to look at the Karita, right? He wants to look at me and actually reject Karita. Saying the ultimate world is not a good translation. Instead of using the word ultimate world, you can use ultimate domain or ultimately.
Yeah.
Nothing exists ultimately, nothing exists in the ultimate domain, but don't say that nothing exists in the ultimate world. Okay, yes, over there.
Very simple question after what Karita said. Is emptiness also fullness, or is emptiness just emptiness?
Okay, you use the same word twice. Emptiness, just the emptiness. You getting it? What is the second meaning of the second emptiness? What's the meaning of the second emptiness? Is it emptiness of objective existence or emptiness nothing? Okay, what we can say.
It's the complete is the emptiness complete absence of anything, or
okay.
Or does the emptiness have a is emptiness empty? I think is the question.
Okay, emptiness. Does it simply means nothingness?
Yes.
Okay, so for that matter, what we said is emptiness. Okay, what we said is everything exists. First line. Only if you say everything exists, then you are entitled to go to the second line. Do things exist objectively? Do things exist independently? The answer is no. Which means even emptiness, okay, let's say, let us quickly do mental exercise. Okay, sit upright. Okay, we have all been to the airport, and then we go to the security. For the security, we have to put a bag in.
Conveyor belt.
No, not the check-in bag. Cabin bag. When you go to security, where do you put the scanner, X-ray? X-ray scanner, you have to send the bag through X-ray scanner.
Yeah, you put it in a container and then goes to the
Scanner. Very good. Okay, let's say that there are two scanners. There are two scanners, right? The scanner, if you put this flower in the first scanner A, okay, you what? Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis, group A. Conventional analysis. The first scanner is the scanner of conventional analysis. So there I put this flower. What comes out? Your flower comes out. And the scanner B, which is, hey, ultimate analysis. The scanner B is the ultimate scanner of the ultimate analysis. You put the flower in. What comes out is emptiness of flower does not come out at all. What comes out? Emptiness of the flower comes out.
Wow.
You're getting it?
So does it mean nothing comes out?
No, listen. Just the analysis. Don't go into, again, what to say, how to reject him. Don't think like this. Just listen to the analogy that I'm giving. Once you understand this, then you apply this to the actual meaning. Say, second scanner is the scanner of the conventional ultimate analysis, where I put the input as the flower, output is the flower disappears, emptiness of flower comes out. Right? You put anything in this, the input, whatever object A, what comes out is always emptiness of object A. This is what always comes out. Now what the Anna-Marie said is emptiness. Now we can put also emptiness. Okay, you put the flower, what comes out? Flower does not come out. Emptiness of flower come out. You're getting it? Emptiness of flower come out. You now pick up the emptiness of flower and put it there. Emptiness of flower, you put it into this input, then what will come out? Emptiness of the emptiness of flower come out. You're getting it?
But then it's nihilism, like nothing exists.
Okay. So this is where we have to understand emptiness in the light of dependent origination. For nihilism, dependent origination does not operate. This is example. This example, to understand this fully, to appreciate this example fully, you have to understand dependent origination. So therefore, dependent origination is respected as the king of the reasoning. King of the reasoning to establish emptiness. If you understand emptiness in the light of dependent origination, then the nihilism will automatically cut.
I understand, but you said that this emptiness is not dependent origination.
Who said? Who said it? Okay, Karita, please don't leave this hall till you are able to say that, oh, Geshe, I'm sorry you did not say this. If you cannot say this, please don't leave this hall. At least don't leave this campus. And don't tell this to your daughter also. Daughter, I can see that she's very smart, she's very active, and she will tell that, oh, Geshe-la taught a very profound concept. What is the profound concept? Emptiness does not have dependent origination. This is what we learned, right? My mother learned. So emptiness means a dependent origination. This is one of the axioms.
That's what I always thought, but now...
No, I said it. You thought it amazing, I also said it. Two sides of the same coin, right? Okay. Karita, tell me, what is this?
Depends how you look at it.
That's amazing. Look, you have understood it. Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Right? Which means if you look at through electron microscope, there's no water.
Yeah.
Is there water or not?
No, if you...
Okay, if you look at through electron microscope, is there water or not?
No.
Nihilism. There's water. We can. There's water, and she's saying that there's no water. Nihilism.
That's atomism.
Huh?
That's atomism when you believe that the basic particles are truly ultimately real. That's atomic realism, not nihilism. It's a more subtle form of matter.
Is she saying that the water is not there, right?
Yep, he's saying.
No, listen, Thomas. Yeah. Thomas, she's saying that water is not there. She said, well, I asked whether there's water. She said no.
She doesn't believe.
Is there water or not? This is not my question. Is there water or not?
Yes, there is.
There's water. If you say there's no water, it's nihilism. Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. Okay.
Depends on.
Listen. Now, just as the water is not there, listen. Just as the water is not there, because what she said, whether there's no water or not, it depends. This is her answer, which means that it depends how you look at it. If you look at it through a finer tuning of the electron microscope, even the atoms will not be seen. You're getting it? Even the atoms will not be seen. Atoms exist or not, her answer will be no. You're getting it? Listen. This is your presupposition that she's accepting the presence of the atoms. No. Just as she rejects the water, she's also rejecting the atoms. You're getting it? She's rejecting any existence of the phenomena here. This is what she meant by depends. You're getting it? Yeah. There's nothing absolute. This is what she's saying. It depends. What is the, okay, that's something. If you look at through another more refined version, that something will disappear. Yes, no. Okay, this is nihilism. Nihilism and absolutism both. The fact that you believe in the something is there, this is absolutism. The fact that you said there's no water, this is nihilism. We are all seeing water.
No, but I see it as dependent origination. It depends on how you look at it.
No, there's water or not. There's water or not.
Depends.
No, if you're looking at electron microscope.
Electron microscope, then I see particles.
No, this is not. I'm not asking what are you seeing. I'm asking whether there's water or not.
If I'm,
look, she's afraid of falling into nihilism. She cannot say this. Look, is there water or not? If you look at the electron microscope. Look, she cannot say no. Answer is no, but she cannot say it.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, so it'll take a little time. This is a very precious discussion. Just imagine 6 days. Just in 6 days. Okay. Okay, don't forward to seeing you too more often. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be seeing each other. Thank you so much.
Bye. Safe travel. Nice knowing you.
Yes. Okay. This is okay. What the Karita is discussing. This is very important. So we are going through a crash course. Crash course means is rushing through, right? So therefore we have to take time, slow down. We have to slow down. So the recordings that we have, and read that book, His Holiness's book, How to See Yourself as You Really Are. And if possible, you revisit this recording and take yourself a little time. Don't listen to the whole recording within like 6 days. It may take 10 days. It may take even 1 month is fine. Take your time, make notes, and then try to reflect on this, and then gradually the ideas will be created. You're getting it? It's for this reason that I just gave the first, right in the opening of the class, I asked these 2 questions. Do things exist? Do things exist objectively? If you say do things exist in the pretext of understanding emptiness, if you say no, you fall into nihilism. This is nihilism. Whereas if you say yes, then you go to the second question. Do things exist objectively? Answer is no. When you say no to the second question, then you go into emptiness. Otherwise, if you say no to the first question, you go into nihilism. Right?
I understand this.
Okay, so the point is that what we are talking about is to be very honest, is very complicated. And I tried my best to explain this in the simplest example, and it's not easy still to really get it. In fact, one time I was giving the same teaching in a group about this, everything is in the conventional domain, nothing is the ultimate domain, with the example of this house, and then looking out, you don't see anything outside and so forth. Then after the teaching, during the big time, one girl who was attending the teaching, he came to me and said that, Geshe, what you said is very true. I said, what did I say? You said that everything exists in this hall, right? And the outside there's nothing. That's true. While I was in the hall, I got the feeling that I got everything. I learned everything. The moment I go out of this house, everything disappears. Okay.
I'm a twin sister.
Huh?
I'm a twin sister. I'm her twin sister.
Okay. Okay. Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, so what we are talking about is nothing exists ultimately. Everything exists conventionally. This is a point in essence. Okay, we stop here.